All right, let's make this work. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy, Tim, the handsome liberal. Ruby Freeman and Company. You guys are probably familiar with Ruby Freeman. I cannot think of the other girl's name, but it's two of these women that were working the polling offices down in Georgia. And Rudolph Giuliani, along with, if I'm correct, President Trump and a host of other folks, were suggesting that Ruby Freeman was basically passing USB drive and basically cheating and stealing votes for President Biden. Now, many of you folks are probably aware that they were suing Rudolph Giuliani for defamation of character. Rudolph Giuliani suggested that they were cheating in the Georgia polling office. Now, these are volunteers, and they have since began receiving all sorts of death threats, even to their extended family and children. Well, they were suing Giuliani for defamation of character. He was found liable because these women are saying their lives have been ruined. So they were trying to figure out an amount that Rudolph Giuliani should be liable enough to pay these folks. Well, the numbers have just come in. The jury has just released their verdict. Obviously, Giuliani and company will appeal this, but how much does Giuliani owe these women? They were asking for, I believe, $47 million or something of that nature. The jury has now awarded them $148 million. Now, obviously, Giuliani is going through a hell of a lot of issues from Dominion and a host of other lawsuits, so not likely that he has this money. However, he has literally rode off into the sunset a very poor man. He does have some wealthy property still. So although Ruby Freeman and company are not likely to get $148 million out of Giuliani, these are volunteers working at a polling place, folks. They will likely get enough that they don't have to work again. The likelihood that Giuliani will give them zero is probably not going to happen. So there is a good likelihood that these women, let's say they get a couple million out of him or whatever the case may be. He still has valuables as we speak. So her attorneys can continue going after this guy. He still is worth some money. Most likely, I'm assuming he has some assets out there in addition to the properties he's trying to get rid of, but he certainly has bit the farm in regards to his participation in President Trump's life. I mean, like I stated before, the Dominion voting machine lawsuit. I believe there's another voting machine company that also was coming after him. Him and Mike Lindell have lost a lot. But what I want to ask you folks, $148 million, what say you? Do you think Giuliani should be on the hook for such a high dollar amount? Do you think he defamed these women at all? Perhaps maybe you believe he has proven his case that they were cheating. I want to find out from you folks. What do you think? Looking in the comments. And by the way, I appreciate you folks tapping the screen. Happy Friday to all of you folks. This just came in. So that's why I wanted to get on here and see what you folks had to say. $148 million is what Rudolph Giuliani has been officially ordered to pay to Ruby Freeman and company, the two pollsters, volunteer pollsters down in Georgia, for claiming that they were stealing the election and operating on behalf of President Biden. Now, remember, these women were saying they were receiving death threats. They basically, one of them wanted to change her name because everywhere they were going, they felt scared as hell. And you got to understand, you know, as Hulk Hogan once said, what you going to do when all my Hulkamaniacs get their hands on you? When you got 74 million MAGA maniacs after you, it's something to behold. Going to the box, 148 million. Started out right off the bat. Angel is, what does that say? Last chosen. I didn't quite get the rest of that. $148 million. Good afternoon, Angel. What say you? You think that this is a fair verdict?
No, not at all. I mean, I don't know much about it, but I just came here to pretty much ask you a different question. I've been wanting to ask you this question for a long time,
Sure.
but I know you got so many people up in the box. I really think this whole thing with Donald Trump being indicted and all everything, I feel like it's just a show. So, a show.
A show for what purpose?
For to steal more taxpayer money, tax dollar money, because that's what it is. Because if Donald Trump was really convicted, right, they would have put him in jail a long time ago.
Well, wait, let me interrupt and just say this. You understand any wealthy defendant can drag out a court case. This is not something unique to President Trump. You can't just throw somebody in jail. You make an accusation, you charge them with a crime. They have attorneys and they can drag things on. I mean, Trump, it hasn't been that long ago that Trump was charged with a crime. Any wealthy defendant would be still going through the process right now.
Yeah, but we both know he's not going anywhere. He's innocent. There's nothing you know
How do you know?
that he's about.
How do you know he's 100% innocent of all 91 charges?
It's all about the election.
Okay.
All about the election.
Is it possible that it could be about the election and he's guilty?
I don't think he's guilty.
Why not?
Because it's all about election. I mean, come on. Let's say if tomorrow Donald Trump would have dropped, whatever he's the kind of whatever they have him charged with, it's all gonna drop down.
So let me ask you, if you're saying that if Donald Trump dropped out and tomorrow all the charges will go, how do you feel about Hunter Biden? If President Biden got out of it, you think his charges will go away?
No, but because he actually did commit a crime. Honestly.
How do you know? How do you know?
You have to realize that nothing's gonna come out until President Biden becomes civil. Once President Biden becomes civil, that's when everything's gonna catch up to them. You know what I mean?
So is it safe to say you have already prejudged that Trump is innocent and Hunter Biden is guilty?
Yeah.
Okay. Are both men entitled to their day in court?
No, but
why not? Why are they not entitled? If you believe in the Constitution, I'm assuming, why don't you believe they're entitled to their day in court?
Well, I believe I don't know if people agree with me or not, but I think since Hunter Biden, his dad is the president of the United States, so I believe Hunter Biden gets a free pass a free pass.
He's not getting a free pass. He's in court. If he's got a free pass, he wouldn't be in court still.
Yeah, I know, but I really don't know, honestly. But I feel like, I'm being serious. Once, President Biden becomes civil, they're going to find something,
Okay.
But until then, President's still president, and nothing's going to start until,
Well, do you think anything was going to start while Trump was still president?
I mean, come on. I still, when President Trump was president, right? They already wanted to indict him, but they didn't because he was still president. And now that he became civil, that's where everything.
Okay, well, President Biden is currently president. You don't think they want to indict him too?
They're not.
But they didn't indict Trump either. You said they wanted to indict Trump. Right now, you're saying they're not going to indict Biden. They want to do it, though. Am I right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But to be honest with you, do you really think, just be honest with me, do you think all what they're doing to Trump is because he's running for office? Do you really think that anytime a day Trump say, hey, I'm dropping out of the race, do you think they're going to leave him alone?
At this
Because
stage,
that's what the
yeah,
people
yeah,
want.
that's a good question. I will tell you this, in my opinion, if Trump was not running for office, a large portion of the charges he's facing, he probably wouldn't be facing them. I agree with that. However, if Biden's dad was not president, Hunter Biden wouldn't be charged with anything either. Keep in mind, everything that Hunter Biden allegedly did, he had already did most of this stuff when Trump was president. The day Trump won as president, all of this stuff was still there. But Trump had beat Hillary Clinton. President Biden was not on the radar yet, and they weren't going to charge him with anything. So the point I'm trying to make is anytime you run for office, yeah, things are going to happen to you that normally wouldn't happen. You think Trump would be saying Obama was born in Kenya if Obama wasn't president?
No.
Right. So it's not unique to Trump. That's what happens. You think President Biden would not be called a child sniffer? If he wasn't running for office, nobody would give a damn about that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree, but at the end, I still think all this is happening because Trump, he wants to make things right, and I believe the other side are scared that all that is gonna go away, like the corrupt is gonna go away and everything. But I mean,
do you see January 6th? You said Trump was trying to make things right. Do you see January 6th as an attempt to make things right?
Do you think Trump did plan that?
Wait. You're answering my question with a question. I'll answer yours, but answer mine first. That's how it goes. Do you see January 6th as an attempt to make things right?
No.
All right, so he's not always trying to make things right then. You see him trying to suggest that Obama shouldn't be president because he was born in Kenya? You think that was making things right, an attempt to make things right?
No.
All right. That's all we're saying. Some of the things Trump is going through is not unique to Trump, and some of the stuff you're saying that is being done to him wrongfully, he's done the same stuff to others. That's all we're trying to point out. Now, what was your question once again before I move on?
Do you really think that Trump really planned the January 6th? Or because in one of his speeches, he did said, if you're gonna go protest to the riot, go in peace. He did not say, go and commit all this destruction and like all this chaos.
Well, whatever Trump planned, whether it was peaceful or violently, I'll just say this. I was not there that day, so at the very least, I have to listen to what folks that were there are saying. And several members of his administration are making it clear that once this stuff started happening, Trump deliberately made himself unavailable and was trying to do nothing to stop it for several hours. Now, we also know before Trump said go peacefully, Rudolph Giuliani talked about fighting and having trial by combat. What is his name? Steve Bannon made some very violent remarks. And then Trump comes up there and says, go peacefully to a crowd that has a noose. They're talking about calling for the death of Mike Pence. And we're supposed to forget all of that and only pay attention to go peacefully. This doesn't happen without President Trump. So I don't know if I can completely excuse him of it, because at the end of the day, none of this stuff takes place without President Trump sending these folks angry to a building where they knew all the people they were angry at was located. The idea that we didn't expect nothing to happen doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I really do appreciate it. You letting me in the box and everything, and hit the screen. Follow him and everything, and
absolutely.
Hey, let a Democrat jump in the box.
That will happen. I appreciate that. Tap the screen, folks. You know what we got going here. Because it was not him who sent them, says Sir Sir Kuda on YouTube. He's on video saying, we're going to march to the Capitol and I'll be with you. He's on video sending them to the Capitol. What do you mean he didn't send them? Looking in the comment section here. She ain't even going to see no money. Brownsbacker, that's what we're asking, folks. Ruby Freeman and Company by Rudolph Giuliani. The jury determining the defamation lawsuit has just officially ordered Rudolph Giuliani to pay Ruby Freeman and the other one $148 million. $75 million alone is in punitive damages. $20 million is for emotional distress. Now, Brownsbacker said they're not going to receive a dime. I don't believe they're going to receive $148 million. Giuliani is also going to appeal it. But the notion that Rudolph Giuliani is not worth a single cent, I don't believe that's going to happen. I do believe these women will receive some money. And they'll receive a lot of money. Nowhere near 148 million, but these women were volunteer poll workers in Georgia. Even if they both get a couple $100,000, that's a lot of money to these women likely. They will receive some money. It'll be a fraction likely of this, but the idea that they're not going to receive a penny, I don't believe that. I don't buy that. I do believe they will receive some money. Looking in the comments, because Rudolph Giuliani is worth a lot of money. He is worth a lot of money. I mean, the guy was the mayor of the most populated city in this country. He's been a lawyer most of his adult life. The guy's worth a lot of money. I don't think that they're going to walk away with zero. I just don't. It was just decided. Yeah, this just came in. For you folks that may this story is less than an hour old, maybe even a half hour old. This just happened. Tap the screen or go right back to the box. The program is and always will be MAGA friendly. In fact, while I'm talking to you right now, X, formerly known as Twitter, just sent a banner across my device telling me that he just was ordered to pay $148 million. So I'm still getting updates that is referring to this story. Do you think it's fair? Was it overkill? Was it not enough? How do you feel about Rudolph Giuliani? Now, these women claim they were getting death threats. MAGA is on recording, calling their houses, saying racist things. Even their kids were receiving threats, according to them. What say you? Go into the box. We'll keep it moving. Takesha Blue. Good afternoon, Takesha. Welcome to the program. 148 million. Takesha, good evening. What say you?
It's not enough.
Wow.
It's not enough for your life being threatened. Those women could be deceased today off of lies he told. He admitted that he lied on those women. That was number one. Number two.
Did he, because he just doubled down on it yesterday and said they did lie. I don't know. Did he admit he lied?
He admitted it. That's how they won. Because he admitted it. I promise you he admitted it. When it came out that he admitted, I said, now they need to take Sweathead down to the nearest alley and whoop his ass.
Oh, come on, that's an old man.
Because I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
Right here. You don't have to lie on nobody. You could have caused those women unaliving.
Yeah.
They could be deceased right now because you was mad because your boy didn't win and you wanted to make it seem like somebody cheated the reason he didn't win. Sweathead need to pay a lot more than what they ordered him to pay. Hush, Zoe. Number two.
Wait, do you think he has the money, though? Do you think he has anywhere?
He couldn't even pay his wife alimony. No, he ain't got it because he used it all when he was trying to prove Donald Trump won.
Why would he do this to his own finances?
Listen, Mike Lindell, ask him why. Ask him why he ain't got a my pillow in his bed right now. Ask him. Ask the people that have lost their livelihood for lies. Ask them why now. Ask them why they did it. Ask the fake electors why they did it. Ask all the people that have been charged, that have gone to jail and done time, why they did it.
I'm just speculating here, but when you see so many people throwing away their careers, as you pointed, even their freedoms, a couple of people like Ashley Babbitt, even their lives, is it possible that some of these folks was made some kind of promise by Trump or the administration? Why would they do all of these folks do this? It's like literally watching a bunch of people go to the edge and jump off.
We're in a Jim Jones situation.
I get that.
We're in a Jim Jones situation.
Wow.
I'm telling you, handsome. Sweathead ain't had no business lying on those women. Cause let me tell you something about me. She had the wrong family. Cause my family, they wouldn't even made it past the gate of the front of my house if they had been coming there trying to convince me to lie and say I messed up. Because my family would have been in the yard waiting on them to come through that gate and whoop them right back to the street. She didn't have the right family. We wouldn't have been scared. We wouldn't have been fearing for Nick, because nobody would have been calling our house threatening us, because they would have been scared, because they would have said, now them folk there, they are food.
But wait a minute, Takesha, I get the bravado, but you're talking 74 million MAGA maniacs. Your family can't handle all that drama.
84 million. I wouldn't care if it was 84 million. It don't take you but to show one person that you a typical nut, and they won't come to you.
I wanna understand your point, but
you gotta agree with me, handsome.
I
My
can't.
family a whole food.
I want to agree with you, but I will say, if these folks, as you say, are Jim Jones-like, they're willing to die against your family. I mean, if they're Jim Jones, then your family ain't scaring these kind of people.
Listen to me. I said you asked me about the ones that lost their livelihoods. I said they're in the Jim Jones era with Donald Trump. I don't care if it was a Democrat that called and threatened her. They were wrong. Those people could have lost their lives behind foolishness and lies, and it just wasn't right. I don't care if you support Trump or you don't. You do not go out and cause people's lives to be in danger because you're upset about an outcome of an election. That's just wrong.
But what about karma? Let me give you, this is on YouTube. Someone says, when you push demons in evil ways, it only makes sense out of hundreds of millions of people, you're going to get some frustrated to the peak type of people. So is it possible that some of the liberals are just doing things, you know how they feel about LGBT or CRT in schools? I mean, that they really see us changing the country so much that some people are just pissed off to their peak.
Let me ask you a question, handsome. And I'm going to use the LGBT community for an example. Can they make you accept what they are?
No. I suppose
can
not.
Can they make you believe in what they believe in?
No, but they can, as they say.
Hold on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, black people, we want rights and freedoms too. Can we make white people give them to us?
Not really.
Are they going to treat us how we want them to treat us?
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. You can't make people accept you just because they're trying to make the laws and stuff fit. That don't mean people don't obey the laws that's in place. That don't mean they're going to obey the laws that come to the LGBTQ and all of that.
But that could go both ways, Takesha. You could say the same thing about a woman can still go to another state and have an abortion. That still doesn't stop the liberals from being angry at all these abortion laws they're coming out with.
But what I'm saying is this, handsome. The world gonna do what the world is going to do. I can understand people being angry. Like I said, if you voted for somebody, they didn't get in, you mad because they done told you the election was stolen, which they started saying a million months before it even happened, and now it's embedded, and you really believe this because it didn't happen. I can understand you being mad. But you ain't got to go and lie on them folks and cause people. Don't make up no lies. Just fight in the courts or accept what has happened and fight in the next election.
Well, but Takesha, you said fight in the courts or just do the next election. You got to understand, they believe the courts are skewed towards liberals. In the next election, the Democrats are going to cheat again. That's how they see it.
But it's sad that people don't have common sense these days. Common sense is not so common, handsome.
Yeah.
People are thinking with their hearts instead of with their heads.
Yeah, and I see in the comments, Trevor says it takes too long in the courts. So, because let's be clear, as opposed to rioting and looting, Black Lives Matter could go against the police in the courts as well. Do we really want to take the time it takes to go after the courts when we know the courts favor police? So there are counter arguments to what you're saying.
I understand, Hanson. Yeah. Like I said, it's not enough money.
All right, fair enough. All right, so $200 million?
Give them 5. He ain't got it. It's just gonna look good on paper. Rudy Giuliani ain't got a dime. Anybody that wear dye in their head that run when they sweat, they ain't got no money.
All right, $500 million. Wow, I appreciate it, Takesha. You have a good weekend, by the way. All right,
You too.
absolutely. Looking in the comments, in-law, outlaw. I don't quite get that, Trevor. Both sides are lying in the same house. Yeah, could be. And I apologize. Apparently, the coloring in this sweater is meshing with the names that are popping up here. So I can read your writing, but the names are a bit difficult here. Where's Rudy Clud? I don't quite get that. 148 million. I'll go right back to the box. The program is always will remain MAGA friendly. MAGA will always be the preferred guest on the program. Liberals are welcome, as you may see. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. So if you do enjoy civilized conversation from both sides of the aisle without any concern of the host trying to censor you in any way, fashion, or form, follow the program. You're in the right place. We believe in free speech all day, every day, no matter what you have to say. I don't like the both sides argument. What are you, in Charlottesville now? Why don't you like the both sides argument? When was America, with a bunch of K's, great? During slavery or after? Listen, my analysis suggests that America was never great for everyone in this country. I can't give you a time period at all. Never was great for everybody. So hopefully that's your answer. Someone says before slavery it was great. Okay, we didn't have much to do with America during that time. Shout out to the natives. Let's just get rid of both parties. That wouldn't do any good at all, Tower. Literally, because the way our system is set up, I could put you in office, and within a few weeks, your aide, whoever your assistant is, will start giving you ways how you could get paid, how you could make money under the table, how you could get paid from lobbyists and everything. That's why I don't believe term limits would ever be the solution to what we feel ails us, because it is the process. You know, they always say, don't hate the player, hate the game. You can get rid of Mitch McConnell or Nancy Pelosi. You don't think the next person is going to start doing the same shit? They could probably pick up the phone and call up Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell and get advice even on how to do it. It's literally not the player, it's the game. You need to change the rules. Simple as that. George Santos, who they just got rid of, he's not a long-termer, and he was already enjoying the game. Hate the game, not the player. Looking in the box, and you can vote him out. I do agree with that, but we'll keep going and moving it on. One of my subscribers I always got to give a little credence to, Just Peachy, $148 million. Is that too much, or as my last caller suggested, not enough? $500 million, Takesha. Wow. We'll see if the box comes through. We're in a situation because the Dems started it. What situation are we in, and what did the Dems do to start it? I'd be curious to hear your opinion on that. I don't know if my last caller is coming up, but we're in this situation because the Dems started it. What is the situation? I don't get it. They want to vote for Biden. He can't say two complete sentences. I wonder what Vladimir Zelensky thinks about Biden's speech, if he can say two sentences. I wonder how Benjamin Netanyahu felt when Hunter Biden made it clear that we stand with Israel even more than Israel thought we were going to stand with them. I wonder how did China feel when Biden went to Taiwan and made it clear if they encroach on Taiwan, America's there. He sure is completing a hell of a lot of sentences on TV. Is it artificial intelligence? I don't know, because he sure seems to be able to do it when you see him on TV. Netanyahu's going to tell Joe to zip it. Why the hell would he tell Joe to zip it when the day after they got attacked, Biden stated we got an aircraft carrier in the region and another one on the way? Well, in fact, America under the Biden administration is the only one of our allies, only one of Israel's allies, who did not order Israel to cease fire. all of our other allies, all of the remaining allies, from the European Union to NATO, all want Israel to cease fire on Gaza. America is the only person that still is giving Israel the credence that it's okay to keep doing what you're doing. Why would he tell Biden to be quiet? Biden is the only ally he has right now in this shit. All right, let me try it again in the box. I don't know what's going on with my last caller, but we'll try it one more time. Electric Wolf 45, talking about 148 million to Ruby Freeman and Company. Too much, too little, not enough? What do you think? Is this weird relationship we have with them? It's a damn long story. Yeah, I don't know if it's weird. I think it's quite supportive. I think it's very supportive. And I tried to bring Wolf, and I must have some problems with the box because folks are coming and going. We'll give it another shot, but I don't know what's going on. I do appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen, 500 plus of you in here. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Tap the screen. Get your boy up on this Friday evening. Could be anywhere you want to be. Always glad to have you here. Get your boy up to about 20,000. Helps out the algorithm. Brings in more MAGA. You know how we do it here. And there's always no ban or censorship on your speech. Once again, I don't know if we're going to make this happen on the box. Let's try with Kevin Patrick Palmer. I do appreciate that. I have seen through Biden for years. Surprised when Obama chose him. Well, he chose him because President Biden has a hell of a friendship base with a hell of a lot of people, even across the aisle. President Biden goes back to, I think he became a politician at age 29. He got a lot of friends on the right side of the aisle. He goes back to the era when they used to work with each other. So it made sense for the first black president to pick a white guy that had a lot of friends. Kevin, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
148 million Giuliani has to pay to Ruby Freeman and Company. Do you think that's too much? You think it's legit?
What is he paying them for?
Claiming that they were trying to steal. You know who Ruby Freeman is, right?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Fill me in.
All right.
I've been listening for like 30 minutes trying to figure it out.
Okay. Well, I was going to say because you clicked in for some reason, but you know.
Something else.
All right. Well, we'll get to that too, but Rudolph Giuliani and President Trump, by the way, they didn't go after Trump, but Trump, probably because he was president at the time. But these were the two, a mom and daughter, African-American women that were volunteer poll workers in the state of Georgia. They're caught on video, apparently, according to Rudolph Giuliani, passing a USB drive, and they were, according to Giuliani, cheating for Biden. And they started receiving death threats and everything because Giuliani went on national TV claiming that they stole the election for Biden. They started receiving death threats. They sued him in court for defamation. They have now just been ordered to receive from Giuliani 148 million.
I guess it depends on whether they actually were passing the hard drive or cheating.
No evidence was presented. Well, Giuliani has now admitted, according to folks in the comments, he actually admitted that he defamed him. But no, there's never been any proof that these two women were cheating for President Biden.
Well, sounds about right then, I guess.
Okay, so you do believe that that Giuliani should pay quite a bit?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right. What about Trump? Do you see Trump as potentially lying about the election?
Then Rudy Giuliani, whatever his name is. Rudy Giuliani, sorry.
What about Trump? Do you think Trump's claims of the election are accurate?
That it was stolen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always believed that it was stolen.
What do you base it on? What have you seen factual? Because I understand you believe it, but what have you seen in terms of proof that makes it clear that this is not a lie?
Well, I don't think I honestly have anything that I could base it on factually. It's just sort of like a hunch, I'd say, because they went after him from day one, and they're still going after him.
Yeah, but it
so happened that there was all this kind of shenanigans going on during the election, And
Let me ask you
I
this.
think it was more efforts for them just trying to get rid of him.
Okay, I hear your point. You think they were just trying to get rid of this guy. Maybe they're scared of him or whatever. But it's been 3 years, Patrick or Kevin. 3 years. Why don't you think there's actual solid evidence 3 years later?
I don't know. I haven't followed it closely enough. Who has time for that?
Well, you don't have to follow.
I honestly don't think it's they wanted when the accusations were made that it was that there were shenanigans going on. I think they went too quickly to try to shush anyone who said any different. They called people crazy. They called people unpatriotic or un-American for just questioning that. And I think that, well, if you have half of the country saying that perhaps we should look into this because there's some
Impropriety, yeah.
against fraud, I think it would be in the best direction of the company to say, okay, at least the media should have done it. But
let me respond to that. Let me respond to that. Let me respond to that. I see in the comments, Rock's Best Secret said, Kevin, do you believe in Santa? Wow. Let me just say this. I agree with you.
Yes, I do. Why not?
Well, ask Santa to bring Trump some votes or some evidence. I will say this, though. There's a difference between what you're talking about. Why don't we do an investigation on how the election ran, as opposed to running around and saying you won by a landslide? Trump didn't say there's some shady stuff that took place. He said I won by a landslide. You gotta prove. You gotta produce evidence of that, don't you think?
Yeah, I think he probably tried to produce some evidence. But sometimes things don't go your way in the courts, and things are blocked. If you have liberal judges presiding over the courts, there's all kinds of things that they can do to make sure that evidence doesn't come forth.
Why would speaking of liberal courts, why would a 6-3 Republican majority Supreme Court not hear his case if he had evidence?
Because they've all been to Epstein Island. That's why.
You think all of the Republican Supreme Court judges are former visitors to Epstein Island?
Have you ever tried to turn your microphone off on your phone or your camera off on your phone? Are you able to do that? Is there a function on your phone where you're able to switch it on or off?
Yeah, I believe so. Why are you asking that?
Well, why do you think they do that? Why do you think we don't have the freedom to turn off our microphones or our cameras on our computers or our phones?
Yeah, but what does that got to do with what we're talking about?
Well, that's where I'm.
Take me with you. Take me where you're going. Explain this to me. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying that everyone is compromised. Everyone, from the highest person in our society down to the lowest person, they have dirt on everybody.
Okay.
And that's what do you think Epstein Island was all about?
Who is they?
Telephone.
Who are they? Give me some names. Who are they that has dirt on everybody?
Who are they?
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you want me to give you specific names?
Well, yeah, they is so vague. Give me the person that's hold on. Give me the person that's over all of us that is holding dirt on us that we have to work with. Give me who that person is.
Well, Epstein Island was a blackmailing operation.
Epstein's dead, though.
But he was just an operative. It was run by Mossad, who was Ghislaine Maxwell's father. He was one of the highest decorated Mossad agents in history.
You're talking about the Israeli spy organization?
Of course I am.
So the Israelis...
His father was the most highly decorated Mossad agent in history.
So the Israelis are stealing or controlling the American election?
Well, it certainly isn't Russia.
And they don't like.
If you go to the AIPAC website, they even brag about it that like 95% of the candidates that they gave money to won the election.
So let me. Okay, fair enough. Let me get. Okay, all right. Let me get back to what we were. Let's not go. Yeah, let's not go too far off the deep end. But let me ask you this. When you talk about the liberal judges and things like that, didn't give Trump a chance. Why is Mike Pence, his own vice president, saying he lost?
Because he's compromised as well. Like I said, everybody's compromised.
How do you know Trump isn't compromised?
That's a good question. Very well made.
All right, so maybe Trump is working for Mossad and lying about the election.
Listen, anything's possible.
Right.
But I'm actually a supporter of Donald Trump, but I try to look at things both ways. He could be, who we want him to be, or he could be the complete and total opposite.
Okay. Or he could potentially.
We'll not know until at least next year and maybe even further down the line. But
all right, now see
but I just want to say that Mossad is behind the Epstein Island operation. All the most powerful people went to that island so they could.
Where's your evidence? Where's your evidence that Mossad is behind? Where's your evidence?
Well, all things point in that direction.
So you just
told you that Ghislaine Maxwell's father was the most highly decorated Mossad agent. She worked for her father. What was his first name? Epstein.
That ain't evidence, though. So in other words, you just feel that way, like the election. You don't have evidence and stuff. You just feel it happened.
What do you think it was?
I'm just asking for evidence. I've never heard what you're talking about.
Just fun and games?
I don't know, but I need evidence. You can't just throw something out there. I need evidence. Mossad is behind our election. I need evidence.
If I would have said it was like the CIA or the KGB, you would have just believed me.
I don't know. I still need evidence, though. You're talking about stuff that is going into a court of law. You can't have judges ruling on stuff based on how they feel. People got to present evidence. You're coming at me with a lot of really deep stuff, but then when I ask for evidence, you're saying, well, I just feel this.
All three of them have connections.
That ain't evidence. That ain't evidence. My DNA
Specific evidence on how they had connections to Mossad, then that would be evidence.
I need evidence that Mossad is controlling these people. Not that somebody was born part of a family or something. You need evidence.
Well, I could call in another time and provide it for you, but I didn't know that you'd ask me for specific evidence on how Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell are connected to the Mossad. I mean, I gave you an example on how Ghislaine Maxwell was connected to the Mossad. Her father was the most highly decorated Mossad agent in their history.
Okay, and that doesn't mean her father was down.
Hey, something, and you acted like I didn't give you.
Well, you're giving me. Well, your family member is connected.
Why do you think that was never mentioned in the news media? You seem to know a lot about politics.
I don't know, but the idea you're making it sound like, because you're making it sound like, okay, her father is in something, so that means she's guaranteed to be in it too, and you're connecting all kinds of dots without any evidence of this stuff.
I'm not connecting anything.
Yeah, you are. You just said Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was in Mossad. He was a highly decorated person. Therefore, Ghislaine Maxwell, with no evidence, was part of it too. You don't have evidence of that.
Okay, would you like to invite me on in another time, and I will provide that for you?
All right, I got to move it on. Anytime you see me, you're welcome back.
What kind of evidence do you want? And I will provide it for you.
Show me evidence that Ghislaine Maxwell was working for Mossad. Show me evidence that Mossad interfered with our election. Show me actual evidence of this stuff.
I mentioned that AIPAC bragged that 95% of the candidates that they supported in the last election won.
Okay. Trump bragged that he used to.
You know what AIPAC stands for?
Trump bragged that he used to grab women.
Israeli.
Doesn't matter. Trump bragged that he used to grab women by the you-know-what. Just because somebody says something is not evidence. That's not evidence.
Okay. I just told you that AIPAC on their website says that 95% of the people, the politicians that they funded, won their elections.
Okay. All right.
And are you telling me that they're not interfering in our elections?
Are you telling me that AIPAC is the God honest truth? How do you know they're not lying about that?
They were bragging about it.
Okay, I brag about scoring with chicks maybe I didn't have. How do you know they're not lying about
Right,
it?
and you're saying something like, well, they're probably lying.
Okay. When I say evidence, I mean something is irrefutable. Not, well, somebody bragged about something, therefore it must be true. That ain't saying nothing. That's just somebody, that person could be lying.
It's like, what more do you want?
I want evidence. Period.
So you don't think that the APAC is meddling in our elections?
I don't know, man. Look, I gotta move it on. I do gotta move it on. We can talk about it another time. I do get, because it's kind of off topic,
Okay,
but
I will present evidence.
all right, appreciate it. When you can present the evidence, come back, but that was way too deep on that. Looking in the comments, this conversation is the definition of the GOP. Yikes. And I see somebody in the comments said he's compromised. I don't know. 148 million to Ruby Freeman. Rudolph Giuliani has just been ordered to pay $148 million for defaming her and the mom and daughter combo. I can never think of the other person's name. But I want to ask you folks, you think Giuliani being ordered to pay $148 million too much, too little, not enough? Because he stated that they were at the Georgia polling office. These women were volunteers. He stated they were deliberately cheating on behalf of Joe Biden. And said this over and over again, all over right-wing media, all over global or national television. These women claimed they were getting death threats. Their children were receiving death threats. They played phone calls. People were calling them, saying all kinds of racist shit. Should Giuliani have to pay for what he said? Or do you believe maybe he was right? They were still in the election. What say you? We'll go straight to the comments and then back to the box. He should pay more, says user. Yikes. He ruined their lives. He deserves to pay that much. Amy, I think that says Amy. My shirt makes it hard to read. He discovered their lives. I think it's the perfect amount. I'm assuming you mean he destroyed their lives, Madison, for president. Good luck with that. Get another one in those. Get another one of those in the box. I can't pick and choose where my guests are going to take the program. All I can tell you is that I do believe in civilized dialogue. I never believe in stifling or preventing or censoring free speech. So understand you are going to get more guests like that. I often say I go from left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. We don't censor free speech, folks. We do support free speech. So if you do like that type of conversation, follow the program. Going back to the box. Handsome in with Shay Moss. There we go. Shay Moss. I do appreciate that, T-Pain or T-Plane. Do appreciate that. I want to talk to this guest, but I'm going to go first to someone else that was waiting, but I do want to talk to my guy, Loco. All right, going back to the box. Gandalf, good afternoon, good evening. 148 million. Hey, 148 million. Think that's enough or too much, too little?
Well, you know, unless we know the details, we really don't. We really can't say. I mean, a court can say you can pay any amount. You know, who knows?
Do you think do you believe he defamed them at all?
Were they famous before?
No, I don't know. But you can make somebody famous for all the wrong reasons, though.
Look, brother, let's go with this. They say 81 million people voted for Joe Biden who never went out on the campaign trail, all right?
Okay.
Who stayed in his basement, who supposedly got more votes than Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and, of course, Trump.
Right.
They're saying this guy who gave a eulogy, or part of the eulogy, whatever it was.
Senator Byrd.
Robert Byrd's.
Yeah.
Robert Byrd's funeral. And you want to talk racist? This guy, Joe Biden, he's a racist. He did not want blacks and whites going to school together. He fought against that. The other thing is that the other point I wanted to make before I forget.
Okay, I'll let you make it, but I do want you to answer that question in regards to did he defame those two women? Go ahead. What's your other point?
Honestly, Handsome, I think that there was enough evidence out there that nobody got to see because the courts wouldn't let them, to put up a good fight about, these women possibly.
He didn't say possibly, though. He said they did it.
Yeah, but we never got to see any evidence either way. The people didn't get to see that. You and I didn't get to see that evidence.
Okay.
So.
But the judge would have got to see it.
Look, I've been in front of judges.
Okay.
I got I'll make this part real brief. I got a ticket for going 90 and a 70. The officer wrote down, I'm a black man on a black bike doing 90 miles an hour. Well, maybe you can't tell by the picture, but I'm a white dude, and my bike was green, and the judge said I was guilty. All right? So the judges don't mean jack. All right? They don't mean jack crap to me anymore. The Supreme Court means something to me.
Okay.
So if you have enough evidence, you should take this crap to the Supreme Court.
Well, any idea, because President Trump suggested he had enough evidence that the election was stolen, and he tried to take his to the Supreme Court, and they didn't even want to hear it. How do you view that? And they're mostly Republican.
I view that as it's very simple and it's very logical to figure this out. All right? I voted for Barack Obama, okay? The first time.
Okay.
I voted for Bill Clinton. I guess I had this thing where, I thought Bill Clinton was really cool. I thought Barack Obama was cool. But he didn't do everything Barack didn't do, everything he said he was going to do for us, for his people,
Okay.
for America. So I didn't vote for him the next time. I guess there's just this thing where I vote for the best.
Yeah, but you're not. I hear what you're saying, but you're not really answering the question. Why do you think the Republican Supreme Court, by 6-3, by the way, it's an overwhelming majority, they didn't hear Trump's claims that he won the election? Why would they throw it out?
Because there wasn't enough collective evidence at the time. That's why I think they threw it out.
You think there's enough now?
Yeah, I do believe there's enough now.
Give me some of what you got. Let me hear what you got. I'm curious. What do you think the collective evidence? Give me some things that you feel confident that he could prove happened.
Well, to put it honestly, if you have any common sense at all, Barack Obama, one of the most popular presidents that we've ever had. All right. Bill Clinton, another one of the most popular presidents that we ever had.
Evidence, though. I'm looking for evidence. You're talking about common sense. I want evidence.
Okay, hold on. Joe Biden, one of the most racist presidents that we ever had. And you're telling me that 81 million people voted for this guy?
Gandalf, most of the Gandalf.
There is evidence out there.
What is that's what I'm asking for. You're giving me, what is the actual evidence?
There's a movie out there that the Pillow guy put out where all these people were stuffing ballots.
Are you talking about 2,000? Wait. Are you talking about 2,000 Mules or Mike Lindell? Wait. Hold on. Hang on. Let me cover some of you. You're covering a wide spectrum. Are you talking about 2,000 Mules, which was by Dinesh D'Souza, or are you talking about Mike Lindell's Cyber Symposium? I've watched both a handful of times.
Yeah, they kind of work together on that.
You do realize both of them have been discredited. And Mike Lindell, by the way.
Of course they have, because this whole system is run. It's a club up there, and Trump wasn't a part of the club. He told them, look, I'm going to come in and I'm going to think about America first. America first, and the hell with everybody else. So we were drilling oil here. We were getting money back from other countries that owed us for taking care of them. and I see a lot of people are laughing about this, but it's factual. You can look it up. He gave millions of dollars to black colleges.
Yeah, but you're not giving. I get all that. You're not giving me evidence, though. You're giving me things that Trump did. Listen, if you favor Trump's accomplishments, there's a million reasons why I think folks would vote for Trump. I'm not saying that voting for Trump doesn't make sense. There are legitimate reasons to vote for Trump, but I'm talking about him saying the election was stolen, and where is the actual evidence? I don't see that. You're saying that there's evidence there.
I'm telling you, the 10,000 mules and the Mike Pillow thing are evidence,
Okay.
but they don't want to see that because, Handsome, there is a club in Washington, and we're not a part of it. You're not a part of it. Trump's not a part of it. And they want to keep that clique up there because, and this is proven, Nancy Pelosi, Jim Carrey, Romney, and Biden's son were all making money in Ukraine, and that's factual. You can look that up.
Okay.
Why are we not investigating that? Because that's the club up there.
So let me ask you this: do you think President Trump is a patriot and wants to do what's right for this country?
I have no doubt about it.
So let me ask a follow-up question. Washington is loaded with Republican and Democratic senators. Certainly hundreds of Congress people. Give me another person in Washington that you also believe is a patriot and wants to do what's best for this country.
Not many.
Give me one.
Maybe a hand.
Give me the handful. Let me hear who you got.
The chick Green.
Marjorie Taylor.
Yeah, thank you. I can't even pronounce the other. What's her name? The chick that lost in Arizona.
She's not in Washington. You're talking about Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake's not in Washington.
Carrie Lake is a badass.
Yeah, she's not in Washington.
But then you've got Gates.
Matt Gates, okay.
The dude that is the wrestler that they wanted to make him Speaker of the House, but they voted him down. I can't think of his name right now. You got to remember, Handsome, I'm old. I'm older than all you guys. I'm like 62 years old. But look, man, one last topic before you cut me loose.
Sure,
all right?
sure. What you got?
20 million American black babies aborted. That's not because of Republicans. If 20 million American black babies were not aborted, you guys would be equal with whites. Now, before your people come out there and call me a Nazi or racist and stuff like this, all right? And maybe this makes no difference at all to them. 15 years married to a black woman, married to a Mexican now, 3 boys from each, one from the first wife, 2 from the second wife. I've been a Democrat all my life until Trump came along.
Well, you said you voted for Obama only the first time, which means you would have voted for Mitt Romney, the Ukraine funder. I mean, you said you only voted for Obama once.
Not Romney. I didn't vote that time. I voted for the chick and the dude. What's her name? I can think of her name. The chick from Alaska. Golly.
Sarah Palin and McCain is 2008. But wait, Sarah, you said you voted for Obama once. Obama ran 2008 and 2012.
Right,
In 2008, he ran against Sarah Palin and McCain.
I voted for Obama the first time.
That is the first time. If you voted for John McCain in 2008, you didn't vote for Obama the first time.
I voted for them in the primary. I mean, to go against Obama.
Okay.
But when Romney ran, I didn't vote for that guy. He's a piece of crap, man.
Okay. Real quick before I let you go, then, if you used to be a Democrat, that means you voted for Al Gore and John Kerry in 2004 as well, then, right?
I didn't vote for them either.
You voted for Bush?
I told you who I voted. I voted for the times I voted was for
Okay.
Other times I didn't vote.
You skipped some
And
elections. All right.
then when Trump came around, he was talking America first, you know, and there were no wars while he was in office. And now all of a sudden we got all this crap going on. You know what I'm talking about.
All right. Again, if I do got to move it on, I appreciate it. Spirited conversation.
Absolutely, brother. God bless you. Merry Christmas.
Absolute. If I don't talk to you again, happy holidays to you as well. Going back to the box, he forgot Herschel Walker. Yikes. He has fallen and can't get up, says Kim Gaines. You guys are mean. You guys are mean. This dude is way down in the rabbit hole. Yikes. These comments are pretty funny. Somebody said, did you vote for George Washington? Mean. Be nice to my guests, folks. Listen, it's all about free speech. You guys tearing people apart. Usually that's reserved for yours truly. I don't mind you tearing me a new one. Be nice to the guests. And as always, like I said, if you enjoy civilized dialogue, I don't have to worry about the host blocking or banning you. Follow the program. It always will be MAGA friendly. Simply put, it's designed that way, but liberals are welcome as well. He was way more respectful around the world. Trump, that is. Hog Wild, I'm assuming you are suggesting that Trump was more respected around the world. I don't know if I could agree with that. I'll just simply say there are certain countries that favored Trump, certain countries that did not. I'm going to assume the likes of Vladimir Putin was far more favorable to Trump than he is to Biden. I would assume Vladimir Putin certainly would prefer Trump back in office. Vladimir Zelensky, president of the Ukraine, probably just the opposite. So in regards to respect, depends on which nation you're talking about. Because President Trump got into verbal disagreements, I don't want to say arguments, but back and forth with the likes of Trudeau of Canada, Angela Merkel of Germany. You know, folks may remember he went to London and the citizens had this really big dirigible baby of Trump in a diaper. They didn't like him in London. Vicente Fox, is former president of Mexico, is known for saying, we're not going to pay for that fucking wall. He wasn't respected by everybody. Let me just make that clear to you. But there were nations that did respect him. Looking in the comments, Trump fan. Why did he turn his back on Rudolph Giuliani? That's a good question. I don't think that Trump has totally turned his back on Rudolph Giuliani. I believe he hosted a dinner recently, 100,000 plus a plate, and the money was going to Rudolph Giuliani's legal fees. Trump did that, and that's only a few months ago. So I don't think he totally turned his back on Giuliani. However, there's not enough of his front to benefit Giuliani. So, but I don't think he totally turned his back on him. Love Trump. Can't wait for him to be back in the Oval Office, says me. Good luck to you. It's less than, 11 months we'll be voting. This time next year, we'll have a new president-elect. He turns his back on everyone eventually. Yikes. Yikes. I hope that's not right. Let's keep it going. Patriot Preacher. 148 million to Ruby Freeman and Company. Asking you folks, what say you? Too much? Patriot Preacher, good evening. What do you think? Patriot Preacher, you're in the box. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How's it going, brother?
It's going good. Good to have you back on. So Ruby Freeman, and somebody just gave me the other girl's name. I forgot it already. Damn. Ruby Freeman and Company out of Georgia. They just received a $148 million order that Giuliani has to pay for saying that they were still in the election. What do you think about that?
Oh, sorry, brother. You broke up on me there. Ruby Freeman did what now?
148 million Rudolph Giuliani has to pay them.
Oh, yeah, I seen that.
Okay, what do you
think? That's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Too much, too little?
To be perfectly honest with you, it's the political nonsense is insane. And I just think we have, as a nation, gotten so wrapped up in just trying to, you know, it's like this, is whoever is in the White House is running the country, and it feels like they're just taking retribution on everybody else and trying to do as much damage as possible to teach you don't ever do that again.
But Giuliani is not in the White House. Neither are the judge. Neither is Ruby Freeman. I don't know if this has anything to do with...
But the Democrats are. And I'm an independent, so I don't like either side doing it. I think it's ridiculous when we start trying to use the public pulpit for a bashing session.
So let me ask it to you this way: do you believe, since the jury found him guilty of defaming him, do you believe he defamed these people at all?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I would like to see the evidence that they had. I'm pretty much a free speech absolutist. I believe we have the right to say anything and everything except for the crying fire. And beyond that, I don't care what is being said. It may not be polite, it may not be good, but I lost a lot of family members in the military that died for the right to do that, for everybody on both sides. And I don't like Antifa and the nonsense games they play, and I don't like the people on the right that do the same thing. And I think it's, if you want to.
Well, let me respond to something you said. And by the way, folks, show your boy some love. Tap the screen. We should be around 40,000. A lot of lazy thumbs in there. Get your boy likes up. You know what we're trying to do. Real quick, in regards to, I'm like you. I do support free speech strongly. However, do you believe in free speech without any consequence?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you mean by consequences. That means if you're going to have people with hurt feelings, you're going to have people with hurt feelings. As far as taking out legal retribution, unless you're in a place where you're destroying someone's business, or you're taking their livelihoods from them, or causing some kind of financial hardship to them, then yeah. I mean, you say what but the consequences are consequences.
Let me give you an example. Let me give you a completely fabricated, made-up example. Let's say you're in the neighborhood and there is a mob boss in your neighborhood, a top member of the mafia, and he goes around saying that you are a rat, you are a snitch, and that results in several people trying to take a hit on your life. Do you believe he should have any consequence for lying on you when you have no clue what he's talking about?
Yes and no. I mean, if I got people, if someone's putting out a hit on me or something, that's one thing. That's trying to cause bodily harm.
Okay.
But if you're just throwing out your opinion that creates a problem elsewhere, I mean, I can see where you're coming from, and some levels I agree with you. But at the same time, you can't. Where's the line? If you start hindering that free speech, where do you stop?
I'm with you. I'm not about hindering free speech. What we're talking about is the consequence of it, though. Rudolph Giuliani essentially said these women were rats. They were cheating on the election, trying to subvert democracy.
How many people have you said that about? I've said that about millions of people.
You and I are not Rudolph Giuliani. That's why I used a mob boss. I didn't use a regular neighbor. We're talking about somebody that has the ear of millions of people. That's not you or I.
Right. Well, and President Trump says it about this person or that person. I mean, there's a lot of people that throw out some comments that are not kind, but at the same time, again, I'm a pastor also, so I believe in speaking kind to everybody personally, myself. But as a nation and our government, man, I think if we get into that thing where you start restricting it, it's going to come down to whoever's in office is the one who decides what's good and what's bad.
But there's no restriction on, even though he's ordered to pay $148 million, he is free to say that again. He's not going to jail. He's free to say it all day long. There's no restriction on free speech. There is a consequence.
Yeah, there is. There's $148 million reasons why we can't say it.
Well, I mean, but think about it. In court, this woman is playing recordings of people actually calling her house and making death threats because of what he said. You thinking that he should be able to just do that?
No, what I think is those people making the death threats are the ones that need to go to prison. You can't, if I say someone's a rat, that's my opinion. If I'm calling and saying, man, I'm coming to kill you or going to unalive you, if I'm saying some stupid stuff like that, then I'm the one responsible for it, not what somebody else said. All I said was they're a rat. If someone else heard that and took it further, they're the ones who's responsible for it, not me.
So then to go back to what I originally said, if someone of prominence in the dark side of things, on the black market that was prominent, like a mob boss, if they called you a rat and people started trying to take hits out on you, what you're saying are only the people taking hits out on you should be responsible. He can keep calling you a rat all day long, and essentially leading to endless people trying to take your life. And you're saying there's nothing wrong with them doing that. It's just the people trying to kill you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're the one that's pulling the trigger, you're the one doing the stupid stuff, you need to be the one pays the consequences for it. If I just got an opinion you're a rat, and that's my opinion, I need to be able to say that to the entire world. As a preacher, I stand up at a pulpit, I say it every Sunday. I spout my opinion from that pulpit unapologetically, and I don't care who likes it, I don't care who doesn't, but I still have a right to say it.
All right.
And that right to say it should be unimpeded by my government.
Yeah, well, I don't think the government is impeding his right. Like I said, at the end of the day, he was found liable. Do you believe defamation is a real thing then?
I do believe in defamation. Like I said, if you're costing someone their business, or if you're costing someone their livelihood, if you're bringing, in some way, you're bringing financial hardship on someone.
They had to move. You don't think he did that to them? They had to relocate. They can't go outside.
Did they really have to move, or did they just choose to move?
People are threatening to kill you. What do you think they're gonna do? Go right back in the house? Have a barbecue on the porch?
If they're gonna kill you in New York, they'll kill you in California. So I mean, just changing locations is not gonna stop someone from being stupid.
So I don't see where your definition of, I could push back the way you just did with them on any defamation case. So basically there would be no such thing as defamation under the rules you're stating.
The only way I can see that happen, like I said before, is if you're, just say if you're lying and you're saying someone in a business situation cheated you out of money or did something unethical to you, and it created a financial hardship where it ruined his business or ruined his ability to provide for himself and his family, or herself and her family. That kind of situation I can see financial restitution and that kind of thing for, because you're taking money from them.
How did if I lie about, let's say I lie about your business in the same statement you just gave, how am I taking money from you? I didn't make your customers decide not to buy from you. I'm entitled to free speech. I may have said something that's incorrect about your business, but according to you, I have the right to free speech.
You do,
Right.
And that's why it's a really high bar. And I've actually been sued for defamation before. So, and to be honest, when we got in court, it got actually threw out because of the evidence that was brought in the situation. Again, it come back to the bar that was set by the judge. Obviously, it wasn't high enough he was like, hey, this cat's got the right to say X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And I'm like that. I'm an absolutist when it comes to it. You have to hit it has to be intentional. You have to go out with the intent, I believe, to harm someone or to bring financial hardship to someone. It can't be just, well, I said X, Y, and Z, and someone else made a stupid choice. You have to.
I get you. I'm just going to say you and I obviously disagree. There's no issue with that. I'm just glad the courts don't see it the way you do. Otherwise, you could really destroy some people. But I do appreciate you coming on. I hope the courts never view this the way you do. But you're always welcome back, man.
Merry Christmas, bro.
Absolutely. You too, by the way. And I do apologize for anybody who see weird lighting. It is starting the sun is pretty much set where I'm at, so I got on artificial lighting, so it may not be the best here. But looking in the comments, won't go to his church. One of the commentators said, I would never go to his church. That is hilarious. Where do you find these people? These are your neighbors, folks. Dre, these are your constituents. These are the folks you're in line voting with. Everyone is entitled to an opinion. I don't know if I agree with his free speech statement. In fact, I don't. But everyone is entitled to support who they want. And you know here, I don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their comments. You know what we do. And I appreciate some of you folks that are tapping the screen. A bunch of lazy thumbs in here, but occasionally they wake up. So I have to keep pushing you guys this Friday evening. Looking in the comments real quick before we go. Right, they are our neighbors. Amazing. Yeah. Pete Montez says, handsome, you're right. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let me up. All right, we're looking there for a second there, Kane. No, it's called being a false witness. He should know better than that fake pastor. T-Plane, yikes, yikes. Let me go back to the box, and we'll go straight to Kane's backup. Gen X, I do see you. Asking that question, $148 million to the Freeman. What is the other woman's name? One more time.
Shane Moss.
Shane Moss. Okay, 148 million. What say you?
I say they deserve every dime of it. If you think about it, they only asked for
40. Yeah, they got over $100 million more than they asked for.
You did something so egregious to these women. We're gonna give them an extra $100 million that they asking for.
Damn.
I mean, and I think they did that because remember, in the first few days of the trial, he still was coming out defaming them and saying that they were still lying.
Yep.
Had stolen the election and all this. He still did it despite all of this stuff. And let me just say something to your last caller because he was off the charts. Your last caller who said,
go ahead. I give you the floor. I give you the floor.
It's almost like you give the great example of the mob boss. I mean, we could talk about Osama. You know, he didn't fly the planes. You know, but
good point. Good point.
Right. So, I mean, what are we talking about here? You know, it's fascinating how people. I mean, he's a member of the church. I mean, it's fascinating. These women, not only did they have their lives upended and their homes attacked, they literally couldn't say their names outside because people were so angry.
Yeah, you know something. I say on all of my programs, I'm a big fan of free speech. But yeah, in that case, you're really putting people in a bind. I mean, like every time, like you said, considering changing their names. I mean, you could make somebody commit suicide doing that. Or get killed. So the notion that this is okay now, if he could prove his case, that's a different argument. But just saying something like this,
what the judge said, you had opportunity for discovery. You couldn't prove the facts. He knew he was lying from the get-go.
Yeah.
The Secretary of State told him he was lying. These were suitcases of ballots. They weren't scamming the system. They weren't trading USB drives. They were trading mints. You know, anyway, the man ruined these ladies' lives, and they deserve every dime he could get. They could get. I'm sure they're not gonna get no $100 million of anything because he don't have it. But he need to start selling some apartments. You need to start cashing out because we need our money.
All right, and I do believe I agree with you. They're not going to get 148 million, but they will probably get enough to sustain themselves. I mean, even if you get $1 million, I mean that's a lot for the average American. I mean, I do believe they will get something out of the guy. It won't be anywhere near that judgment. Plus, he's going to appeal it too.
Let me jump down because I know you got other callers, but they need to sue Donald Trump because he did the same thing to him, to them as well, and the people believed him.
Yeah, I don't know if they can go after Trump. Yeah, I don't know if they can go after Trump because he said it while he was president. He might have some special protections. I don't know, but he did say it while he was actual president. I think that's what may shield him. But appreciate you coming in, Rainey. You know how we do. Yep. Have a good one. All right, looking in the comments, he spoke. Okay, that was last from the last caller. Just scroll up real quick. He needs a payment plan, says Corey. I don't know at this point how much money Giuliani is capable of earning. I mean, he can no longer practice law. He lost that. You know, remember he used to have LifeLock for some of you folks who watch right-wing media channels. He used to be an advertiser or a spokesperson for LifeLock. He don't have any, nobody's going to sponsor him at this point. So I assume he still could call in some favors and make some money, but out in the open, it's probably going to be hard for him to find a decent job. It would be something behind the scenes, like an advisor or something like that. I mean, because he still knows what he knows. Doesn't matter. Hell, I've hired crackheads to do construction work. Even though they can't do it legally, they still know what they know. So he is still obviously a very smart attorney. He's prosecuted some big names during his days as a prosecutor. So he's not an idiot, so to speak. I don't know why he threw his life away in defense of Trump. I assume he saw the power possibilities. But listen, you can bet some of your money. Don't bet all your money on it. I mean, he really threw his life away. Looking in the comments, because he has his children, his descendants, there's no inheritance. There's not going to be anything left behind by this guy. Same thing with Mike Lindell. I mean, they're not going to have any inheritance to pass on because they threw it all away with this stuff. I don't see why they would go so in. I mean, listen, if you believe the liberals are really bad for this nation, there's legitimate reasons for why you may feel that way. You know, protecting the sanctity of life, the way things are going with the economy. There may be reasons to think the liberals are bad for the country. But at the same time, Trump is only going to be in office for 4 more years, unless some kind of dictatorship shit happens. Otherwise, he only has 4 more years. Do you really think that what he is going to do for the country in the next 4 years is so great that you're willing to squander potentially a fortune, get yourself locked up? It's only 4 more years. That's it. You've seen the first 4 years of Trump. When you look at what Trump inherited from Obama, and when you look at what Trump did for 4 years, would you throw your entire life away for what Trump accomplished from 2017 to 2021? Was it that great that you would do what Giuliani and Mike Lindell did? Listen, I don't doubt that Trump might be able to get the economy back in order. Maybe he could possibly get some of the wars to end. Let's say he met every promise he made. Are those things worth throwing your whole life, your entire savings, your nest egg away for that? I see in the comments, Antonio says, yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. All right, fair enough. Going back to the box, and somebody say yes to stop wars. Okay. All right, I stand corrected. Gen Xer, certainly a friend of the program. 148 million, Jen. And so why should we trust him? He didn't do shit the last time he was president. Well, depends on who you, that's not necessarily true. Trump did have some accomplishments. You may not agree with him, but he did accomplish some. Gen X, good afternoon. Or good evening.
What's up, Mr. Tim? How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Always a pleasure to have you on. Are you aware that Ruby Freeman and Shane Moss got a $148 million order judgment out of Rudolph Giuliani?
Man, these people have done lost their minds.
Who are the people?
$148 million. The guy's not even worth $50 million.
Okay, then they'll take a smart percentage.
$50 million.
But do you believe he defamed them?
What's that?
Do you believe he defamed them? Do you think Giuliani did anything wrong at all?
Oh, I absolutely think he did something wrong, and I think as an attorney, he should have known better. You know, defamation is real, and do I think they deserve compensation for their trouble? Absolutely.
Give me some numbers. Give me some numbers. You don't agree with 148 million, but give me some numbers.
All right, I'll give you some numbers. And I'm going to base this on this. There is no way anybody will ever convince me that what Rudy Giuliani did to these 2 women is worse than what the LAPD did to Rodney King. No way. They beat the shit out of that poor dude, and he only got 3.8 million. All right?
Okay.
George Floyd's family, they murdered this poor man in the street. They fucking they freaking killed him. They took his life. He only got 27 million. Come on, man.
I'm not arguing with you. You hitting home runs. I'm not gonna do nothing but keep pitching. You hitting home runs. So give me some numbers though. You're doing.
You know what? I'd say a cool $5 million a piece, or figure out what he's worth. Say 50 million. I think 50% of that's a fair number. 25 mil. He's still got 25 mil. You're not breaking his back. It's not a political statement. They're only doing that because they hate Trump.
You know, I gotta say, you and I usually disagree on a hell of a lot of things because you're to the right of me, but that was a very reasonable answer you gave. I can't argue with that. That was, I mean, leading up to the Rodney King, I mean, there's nothing unreasonable about what you said. I don't know about being concerned with breaking the back of the person doing it, though, because he was putting their lives in danger, so nobody's going to make a determination on whether or not they're breaking his back. But outside of that, I don't see anything. I don't have an issue at all with what you said.
Yeah, again, and I'll concede, Tim. I'll concede that what he did was wrong as an attorney. You know what? If he has an opinion, I kind of agree with the caller before the last that he's got a right to his opinion. However, once he knew that his opinion was false, that there was no merit to that opinion, He should have stepped up to the podium and say, hey, I made a mistake. This is what I believe, but that's not factual. My bad.
So then I gotta take it in a direction. I know you probably we're gonna separate on this, but you believe that what Giuliani said caused these women harm. How do you feel about Trump saying he won the election and all the harm of January 6th up to and including Ashley Babbitt losing her life? Do you think Trump did anything wrong in regards to what happened?
I think there's a lot of gray area, man. There's a lot of gray area. And here's why I say that. If we look at the facts, what Trump actually said preceding January 6th, because the man actually said, go peacefully, protect our police, do this, do that. Trump is very bombastic, man. I mean, they took what he said to the far extreme, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't have a good answer, and I love to disagree with you. I love it. I live for it.
So well, since we're making so much damn progress, Ashley Babbitt, is that justifiable?
Absolutely not. She was unarmed.
Oh, come on. We were doing so fucking well. She's climbing through a window. The guy has a gun aimed saying stay back. He got other citizens cowering behind him. He's law enforcement. If you look at the video, not only is the window broken, but they got furniture and shit barricaded against the wall. She's going to climb over all of that and proceed towards a law enforcement official that's aiming a gun. What is he supposed to do?
Well, first of all, she wasn't going towards him because he shot her in the back of the neck. That's physically impossible.
So she wasn't trying to climb through?
She had already climbed through.
Oh, my. So what was he supposed to do with this chick? She obviously is not complying.
Not shoot her in the back.
What was he supposed to do? Try to arrest her in front of a crowd of thousands?
Take it to the hood, pistol whip her, punk ass.
All right. Now you getting crazy. Do you think that he could have done anything physical with her without getting his ass beat from all the other folks that would have been watching?
Now I'm going to give you a two-sided answer to that. Yes, but I don't think he should have been held liable for her killing because he did in the heat of the moment what he thought was right to protect innocent people.
All right.
It's a double-edged sword, man.
I don't think it's double-edged at all. I think that if you got a chaotic situation like that where citizens are hiding behind you, clearly fearing for their lives because you're law enforcement, you got a firearm telling people to stay back and they don't listen, I don't think you got any other choice. I mean, I don't see it being a double-edged sword at all. I mean, you just can't let her run up on you.
Again, he shot her in the back.
Yeah.
That's the deciding thing for me.
Right.
If he'd have shot her in the chest and the forehead, all right, she was approaching him. But he shot her in the back, man.
Well, I mean, that's not to say that she didn't turn at the last minute and say, come on, y'all, I'm through with something. You don't know. People can turn in an instant. There's a lot of justifiable shootings in the back all the time. I don't know.
She don't turn at no 1,400 feet per second. Come on now.
I don't know. To me, it's one of those cases where, you know, when they say fuck around and find out or, you know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, you shouldn't be doing that. It is what it is. I mean, you do it at your own risk. You shouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah, it's a clear case of fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
All right. Gen X, happy Friday. Happy holidays to you, man. If I don't catch you before, appreciate you coming in.
My friend, you have a great weekend. To all your listeners and viewers, even those that hate me, happy holidays.
Oh, shit. All right. Appreciate it. All right. Moving on with the program. You know what we do here, folks. Always a pleasure talking to you, folks. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Happy Friday for you folks. Hopefully you're not working tomorrow, just like yours truly. But some of you folks probably do work on the weekend. Looking in the comments, she crouched over, her head was sticking down. I don't, you know, and I see in the comments, Kaylee said she was shot left chest, shoulder area. So not in the back. Was the back an exit wound? I don't know, but as far as I'm concerned, listen, you're in a situation like that, only a few feet from the guy, and he don't already. Now, if he had a shot her through the window, like it was a hole in the window where the round went through the barricade, maybe we could talk about it. But you look, these folks had furniture up against the barricade. They were that frightened. So you got the glass up, and then you got furniture and chairs and shit pushed up against that. They were clearly cowering on the other side. And now you don't broke out the window so that you can climb through and climb over the furniture. And I don't know what, listen, I don't know if they were going to go past these people or what, but clearly they were frightened on the other side. She got shot. Kind of just happens. And I see in the comments, Too Special says she messed around and found out. Yeah, fucked around and found out. No, and by the way, the black version of fucked around and found out is I wish a motherfucker would. Same statement or same meaning, two different statements. No, it's a double standard. Yeah! See Osby, appreciate that. Hat and mustache, thank you. Thank you very much. No, it's a double standard. Prosecute him. She was unarmed. Is that not the 2020? No, it's not. Yeah, Golden Lion with the hat and mustache. You guys showing your boys some love. I do appreciate that. And you folks that are on the YouTube watching it with the poor lighting. He held take back your government 50 times. He only said by peace. You're talking about the go to the Capitol and do it peacefully. I'll go back to the box. But in response to Trump saying go to the Capitol and proceed peacefully, he did say that. There's no denying he did say that. My issue is this. You got him being preceded by Steve Bannon talking about taking our country back. And obviously Giuliani talking about, what did he say? Let's have trial by combat. Steve Bannon said something about fight like hell. They're offering these very violent methods. And we're going to skip over all of that and only go by what Trump said, go peacefully. My point is this. You have thousands of people. Somebody said, I've heard somebody suggested 1 million people showed up in D.C. on January 6th. I don't know. I don't know if the numbers were that high, but whatever they were. You have all these folks come. You know they are pissed off because they believe the election was stolen from them. Their constitutional rights were violated. You give them this lengthy speech when all of the opening acts are saying violent shit. Maybe Trump did say goes peacefully. He's on video saying it, so he definitely said it. But all of the opening acts before him were not speaking as peacefully. They're talking about all of the folks that are in the building 2 miles away. They are all pissed off they're pissed off at those folks. In fact, they got a news suggesting one of them should lose his life. And then after the speech, you send them to the building where all the people they're angry at is located. And the belief is that they're just all going to be peaceful when they get there. You just hype this crowd up for like 90 minutes or more, and you're telling them the people you're angry at, they're in that building. Let's go. How do you not predict some violence may take place? To me, I believe it's kind of predictable that this is not going to be peaceful. In fact, out of the 90 minutes Trump spoke, him saying go peacefully is the only peaceful part of the 90 minutes. All the rest of that shit's provocative as hell. It turned out violent. I think that's fairly predictable. If I tell you some really bad stuff about your neighbor, about your ex-wife or something, and then I see you to that person's house, it's safe to assume that's not going to be a peaceful meeting when you get there. You're going to have some choice words to that person, maybe even violence might ensue. You just can't hype people up. And, I don't think nothing's going to happen. No, it is what it is. He held, what did it say? Another problem is it's 10 amount to attempted murder of Congress. Yikes. Now that's serious. Somebody on YouTube said it's 10 amount to attempted murder on Congress. Yikes. Well, the whole news thing, though, I do believe that you should shut that down. When folks in the crowd are yelling for the unaliving of the vice president, you need to stop speaking to these people. They are really hyped up. Going back to the box. We'll keep it moving with, what does that say? What's up, Buckley? 148,000. Shay Moss, Ruby Freeman. Giuliani ordered to pay $148 million. What's up? What do you think? You think it's too much, too little, just right?
Hey, it's good to talk to you again.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I don't think you could take more money from this guy. I think you got to take every penny you can from this guy. He's a vampire.
Damn.
And honestly, just one of the worst human beings. And I'm not surprised that they were sending a message to him and everybody else who's been lying about the election. I'm not at all surprised. I don't think those two women should ever count on seeing a penny. I mean, I think the guy's got about $10 in his bank account.
I don't. You don't think Rudolph Giuliani has any money? I still think, compared to the likes of you or me or somebody, that guy still can put his hand on a lot of money. He may be able to hide it. You may, on paper, he may look broke. That guy ain't gonna be living on a park bench somewhere. That guy still has money to call in.
Well, I'll tell you this. I live in New York City. We have all the Rudy Giuliani we can stand. And this is the truth about it. Like, he's been working for Trump for the last 4 years for absolutely free. This is pro bono work. He's never taken... But the reason he did that is because when this started with Trump, he was in the middle of a divorce. And he was making way too much money at the time.
Yeah.
So he got it in his head that if he worked for a few years for free, his alimony for his ex-wife would be far less. And it all came back and bit him in the behind.
Damn. What if he could show? What if he could show hours that he put in for Trump? Trump owes him a bill, and they could allow Rudolph Giuliani's creditors to pursue Trump to pay the money that Giuliani is owed so they could take it. I mean, he has money out there that is owed to him from Trump.
Well, I think that's a great idea, but Trump doesn't pay his bills either.
Then sue him too.
Yeah, but Trump's been sued millions of times.
Yeah, but Trump actually has the money. He just been delaying those lawsuits normally. But Trump could easily pay that $140 million. Trump could pay that. So
well, you listen. You got a lot of people on here who think this guy is the best thing since sliced bread. Let's just wait. I challenge any of you. I'll give anybody $1,000 if Trump ever helps Rudy Giuliani.
he's already did that. He already threw a dinner for Rudolph Giuliani where the guests had to pay $100,000 per plate. He could have kept that money himself.
Nobody went to the dinner.
But he tried.
That isn't Trump paying it. Trump hosting a party is a completely different thing at a house that he already owns.
But wait a minute, you said you said you give $1,000 if you could show where Trump helped him. Now you're talking about Trump didn't pay it. Hold on, hang on a second. Hold on a second. Now, yeah, you're changing the terms. You said if you could show he helped him. Now you're saying he has to help him with his own money.
Okay, let me make it clear because $1,000 is $1,000.
Right.
If the first person who can come to me and say that Donald Trump sends Rudy Giuliani a check to help him with this $148 million, because the truth of the matter is, folks, if you get hooked up with Trump, it's like the Midas touch, except for poop. But everything that Trump touches turns to crap. People go to jail because they hang out with him. People go bankrupt because they go with him. Like, he's got tons of...
I could push back on that. I think Ron DeSantis has done much better hanging around President Trump. Some folks have actually done better hanging around Trump. Ron DeSantis is far more of a politician than he would have been without Trump. I think Ted Cruz is doing better now that he's hanging around Trump. Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan.
Ted Cruz, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, if President Trump said bad things about Ted Cruz, he probably would not be a senator come the next election. Trump is powerful.
He said bad things about Ted Cruz during the debates. He told him that his wife was ugly.
Yeah, but
on national television.
Yeah, but Ted Cruz got on his knees and sucked Trump. And made friends with Trump. So
yeah, because Ted Cruz doesn't have any scruples and clearly doesn't love his wife. I mean, that's like, could you imagine, like, if a man on national television told you your wife or your partner was ugly, and the next thing you know, that person is helping you raise money for your campaign?
Yeah.
What kind of a piece of crap is that?
Well, he's thanks to his newfound fondness of Trump, the man is Ted Cruz is doing very well among MAGA.
Ted Cruz is so anti-America in so many ways. Like, everything he does is an effort to destroy and cause chaos, and nobody does that better than Trump.
All right, fair enough. So you do believe Freeman and Moss won't get a penny, but you think it was a legitimate?
I don't think they'll ever see any money, and I think they know that. I'm sure their lawyers have told them the truth.
I don't know. I don't think they'll come anywhere near 148 mil, but I don't think it'll be zero. I think they will get some money out of the guy.
He's got this apartment in New York City. I know he's trying to sell it for $50 million.
Yeah, there you go.
I think it's on Park Avenue.
There you go.
Nobody's buying it.
Yeah, but he's selling it for 50 mil. If he sold it for 25, I bet he's selling it. I mean, think about it. Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, they're regular citizens. Even if they only get $1 million out of him, that's going to be enough to sustain themselves. So
I hope so. I mean, he's really put them through hell.
Yeah.
He knew that they were he knew that what he was saying was a lie. And after he was aware that this was causing them terrible problems, he continued.
Yeah.
I mean, when somebody was saying earlier, like, it's like you can't say fire in a theater. This is the exact equivalent.
Yeah, I don't disagree that I'm with you. He defamed them, but I do believe they will get some money out of him. But I got to move it on. What's up?
Put their lives in danger. But here's the one thing I will say, like, because I've been listening to you for about an hour or so, and the people that keep coming on here, I got to tell you, it's the tinfoil brigade. And I'd really like to put them all I'd really like to challenge them, because every time you turn around, one of them saying, well, there's evidence that the election was stolen. But it's funny how no one ever can produce any of this evidence. Donald Trump has never produced any evidence. Rudy Giuliani, who just lost $148 million, couldn't bother to find this evidence and present it. I mean, does he have that much money? It's like, it's not worth my time to go dig it up. There's no evidence. And I was just like, could someone please find the evidence and present it?
I'm with you on that. I'm with you. All right, what's up? I do appreciate it. Welcome back. Appreciate it. Come on back anytime.
Thanks, buddy.
Absolute. Looking in the comments, Trump is next. I wish. Are you saying Trump is next as the 47th president? Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 80,000. I appreciate you folks rolling with your boy this Friday night. Whatever you got planned, I'm glad you had me here first. Shout out to you. Thank you. Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 75, 80,000. Show your boy some love. Program is always MAGA friendly. Always will be in its entirety. MAGA are always my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. What do I say? We don't block, ban, or censor anyone, so you know how that goes. 148 million. Shay Moss, Ruby Freeman getting paid. Too much? Too little? Just right? Talk to your boy. We'll keep it moving with Will. Good evening, Will. What do you think? You think that Ruby Freeman, maybe he didn't do anything wrong? What say you, Will? Good evening.
Hey, I haven't even looked up what you're talking about with the two people you were talking about, but
do you know who they are? Do you know who they are?
No, I don't.
You don't know who Ruby Freeman or Shane, the ones that were accused of in the Georgia polling office? They were Georgia volunteer poll. The two black women.
Been watching the news. No.
Huh?
I haven't been watching the news. No.
This isn't something recent though. During the 2020 election, there were two black women that were working in a Georgia polling office that Rudolph Giuliani and President Trump accused of stealing votes for Biden. You ain't heard nothing about this over the years?
Okay. Oh, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the bins that were under the Georgia polling area where they said they were closed and there was a water leak and stuff, and they counted, extra votes or whatever. Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, Rudolph Giuliani has been found guilty of defaming these women because he has no evidence that they were really stealing the election for Biden in order to pay them $148 million. What do you think of that?
I think the courts have got it wrong because they got to look into it more, because how do we really know? Because there were people kicked out of there there were people kicked out of there. The pollers were kicked out of there. How do we know that the justice didn't do Rudy Giuliani wrong and is just making these women famous and get paid? Really, I don't know how much they're going to get. But
I get your point of, with saying that they closed it up, but shouldn't Rudolph Giuliani have to show proof that what he said is true?
Yes,
he can't do that.
But we know they'll never admit to that because it's part of the establishment plan. Deny. The election was rigged. Proof. Show us proof. Well, the proof is gone because there is no proof of a complete proof of it.
But based on what you're saying, anybody could say anything because somebody else won't admit it. I mean, if you can't just make wild allegations with no proof and say, well, somebody's covering it up, you got to show evidence of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to show evidence. I agree. You have to show evidence about it. But I mean, we know how the corrupt justice system is, so don't act like it's not.
Yeah.
So don't act like it's not that way. But I just wanted to say real quick, here was my counter to everything you're talking about. So for normal American citizens, if one of Trump or Biden said before the election, if you vote for me, you'll get $6,400 paid in full to your account as regular citizens, don't you think that the American people would actually vote for that person and actually get $6,400?
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah, if that happened, I think so.
Is that a dictator? Is that a dictator? Would that be considered a dictator because you're telling your tax money, or you're telling the Federal Reserve that they have to pay the?
I have never heard of a dictator buying. I have never heard of a dictator buying votes. They usually threaten your ass to kill you if you don't support. I ain't never heard of one of them giving you money to buy your vote.
But that'd be an interesting twist, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If they're listening live.
Any evidence of something like that happening in the United States?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so why are you bringing that up?
Well, I just wanted to bring that up because Joe Biden said there was something on Facebook about you can get $6,400 for claim. I forgot what it was, and it was something on Facebook that he signed, and that the opportunity is still available. But for people that make less than 500,000, I saw it. I saw it all over Facebook and all over everything. I don't know if you're aware of that, but
I'm not aware of President Biden telling me specifically if I vote for him, he's going to give me 60.
He literally signed one of the bills as when he was sitting in the office of the United States.
I've never. Well, I will tell you this. Andrew, what was the Asian guy that ran for president? Shit, I cannot think of his name. What was it? The look, he's on CNN now. What was that guy? Because he was promising, they'll give you a monthly paycheck if you put him in office. What was Andrew Yang? Yeah, Andrew Yang was promising, and they actually do that. So what's the difference?
I don't remember. I don't remember Andrew Lang when I was. I've been here. I'm 44, so I just don't remember that. But I mean, my point is, I just would love to see it if that was actually going to happen, and put your money where your words are. And if you don't, they would probably lock your ass up if you didn't vote for. If you said you would, and then you take it back and then don't vote for him. I just think that's. I mean, that's another scenario. I just put it out there. Okay. I don't know why.
Well, I'll just tell you this: everybody that runs for office,
because we want to help ourselves, right?
Yeah, but let me just say something in regards to promising somebody $6,300. Let's be clear: everybody that runs for office promises you something that's going to enrich you. It may not be straight cash. Maybe it's a tax cut, or maybe it's this. They're all offering you something that's going to enrich you.
But they don't do that. We know what they do. We know when they get into power, they just suck it up and sit there and do whatever the hell they want. And, Trump said, I'll get rid of the swamp. I'll pay for, he paid for the wall. But he actually didn't, right? Because it was taxpayers from the United States that did it. So all these politicians are full of it, and we need younger people. We need younger people.
Speaking of politicians being full of it, when Trump said he won 2020 by a landslide, do you think he was full of it? Do you think he actually did that?
He has a right to challenge the
That ain't what I
election,
asked
right?
you. That ain't what I asked you. Do you think what he said is accurate? That he won by a landslide?
We'll never know, right? Because I'm sorry, every time he took it to court, it got denied.
Why do you think that happened? Why do you think so many Republican judges would not hear his case?
Like I said, the justice system is corrupt, and you think that they're going to back you because, well, let's remember that's never happened in history, that somebody had won the election and then it was taken from them, right? That's never happened with any evidence, even if it was proven. How do you take the American president out and put someone else in? It doesn't work that way. I've never seen it.
So let me present it this way. If Trump had won a second term, he's not the only one that would have benefited from it. Obviously, Mike Pence would have served 2 terms as the second most powerful man in the country. Why is he out there saying that even Trump didn't win the election? Even the vice president is saying he didn't win.
Pence is just, at this point, I don't trust Pence, and he's a corrupt politician that all he did was ride on Trump's coattail.
But he could have got, why would you ride the man's coattails to get in office?
So you can get elected and then suck up and make money. You don't know that they made billions and millions of dollars. All these politicians are in there for the money. You realize that, right?
Okay, let me make sure I get clear. Let me make sure I'm getting clarity. Let me make sure I'm getting clarity from you. You're telling me Mike Pence made more money by saying Trump stole the election than he would have made as a second term for VP?
Not that. There were other things he's done that he's made more money. Yeah.
Like what?
I mean, you don't think he's made some money off things?
I think he would. I think Mike Pence would have been far more powerful and wealthier as a second term vice president than writing a book.
But look, yeah, I agree. But look at the percentages of him winning the Republican nomination. Didn't he got out of it, right? He didn't continue. He's out of it and
But I'm listening to you. I'm still trying to figure out, where did Mike Pence gain anything by saying Trump didn't win the second election? He would have done better financially, power-wise, everything by saying Trump won too.
The people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that. If you're not helping out everyday Americans, he's a traitor, man. Did you see the fly on his head?
All right.
The fly knew he was a traitor. He was like, "This guy's full of shit. Don't listen to him."
So when you're saying that these folks lied because they wanted to enrich,
they're in it for money and greed. That's what they care about. They don't care about the American people. You can't tell me and prove me that he cared about anything but himself. When any politician was in, not just.
Is it possible? Is it, because you got everybody from Attorney General Barr to Chris Christie, who was on Trump's debate. You got the likes of Ambassador Bolton, Attorney General Barr, in addition to Mike Pence. Is it possible that all of these folks, instead of all of them being liars and Trump being truthful, is it possible it might be the other way around, that they're all telling the truth and maybe Trump is lying for money and power?
Absolutely. It's possible. Anything's possible, yeah. Okay. I mean, I'll leave it up to there. Yeah, I'm not saying that he is, and there's no proof that, and anyone that says I've heard he's a dictator and he's a terrible person, that he was a racist, there's no proof of Donald Trump doing that. I mean, you can point to me one thing. You can't point to me one thing and tell me that he said anything at all remotely racist. I mean, you can say that. Well,
wait a minute. The guy said he said, I call for a total and complete ban on all Muslims entering America until Congress figure out what.
To protect America. That's an American. Why do you think he's protecting America from being another 9/11? What do you think's going on?
Will, do you realize how many? Will, I could do all kinds of racist things in an effort to protect this country. That doesn't mean it ain't racist. I mean, when you think about large-scale white-collar crimes, it's overwhelmingly done by white people. Drive-bys are done by black people. I could pass a law that makes it so that white people have no access to financial institutions to an effort to protect people's finances. That's racist as hell. You can come up with a million excuses to do something racist in an effort to protect people, but it's still racist, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, I do agree. But I just wanted to say, man, you know, the way that the world is looking, wake up and look at what's going on with all this Iran backing. We're not safe under Joe Biden. We reelect this piece of crap, and it's going to be bad. And I know a lot of people like Joe Biden for some reason because he's supposedly the one. You know, the thing he said, like, "Oh, I care about you." You know, this the acting he did. He's so full of it. I mean,
Damn.
I'm in the middle class, and I have to work 2 jobs to fucking afford living. Anyone that says that they can't, they're either rich or spoiled little brats that get money from their mommy and daddy. You know, it's just so. It's so fucking. Our America is so backwards right now, and if we don't, what would you think if there was no election? If Joe Biden came up with some excuse to stop from Donald Trump from even being on the ballot, that's a dictator right there. I mean, you can't tell me it's not.
I would listen, let me just respond to that. If I saw Biden himself specifically trying to come up with some bullshit law to prevent Trump, I'm with you. That's a dictator. However, here's where I disagree.
We're already there.
Well, you know, but here's where I disagree with you. Here's where I disagree with you. Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Let me tell you why. What?
They're trying to stop him right now. Look at the attacks on Trump. I mean, you have to be an idiot to not look at what's going on to CNN, ABC, NBC, the fascist news propaganda machine. You have to be clearly, a lot of those things that he said were they were so one-sided and lies that he
Do you think Obama was born in Kenya? Because Trump said that.
I don't know on that. I would say that we're not in. I never questioned that
Here's the problem. You seem to question things against Trump that may be a lie, but when other stuff is said, you're kind of. I mean, there's no evidence of Barack Obama being born in Kenya. You don't hold Trump accountable for saying that. Trying to get the man disqualified from being president on the grounds that he wasn't born here.
I think that's wrong. Yeah, I think that's wrong. But I mean, touche. But you can look at Clinton and then tell me that she's not innocent, and she is not innocent at all.
Well, here's the point I'm trying to make. Trump is not the only one that had somebody try to disqualify his presidency. He tried to do it to the guy before him personally by saying the guy wasn't born in the country. He tried to do it himself to someone.
But it's not Trump derangement 24 hours a day.
It doesn't matter. It's wrong. It's wrong. You don't need to be deranged to be a wrongful person.
Yes, you do. You're deranged if you hate someone else for their beliefs. I mean, why do they hate him so much? Is he because he keeps America great again, or do they not like that slogan? And do they not like cheaper things? Do they like cheaper? They like more expensive oil.
I like cheaper things. I like cheaper things.
Like him so much?
I definitely agree with you. I like cheaper things. But let me respond real quick to your question about if Biden tried to pass laws to prevent Trump from being in office, would that be dictator-like? The answer I want to give you is this. There are people trying to prevent Trump from being president again. Where you and I disagree is people are automatically assuming all the opposition against Trump is coming from liberals and Biden is in control of it. If Mike Pence says Trump shouldn't be office, he's somehow now a liberal and a rhino. A hell of a lot of folks testifying against Trump are people Trump hired and gave jobs to. They're not liberal, but to make the argument to fit the agenda of us against them, folks that support Trump and Trump himself is making it sound like all of his opposition are liberals working for Joe Biden. That's flat out false. Biden is not involved in this stuff.
I agree that's flat out wrong. But I did want to say that if you look at their actions, you gotta take a leader by their actions. And anyone you can see these people when you actually look at the actions of somebody that is not right in the head. Like we all know, Joe Biden doesn't seem right.
But Joe Biden is not going after Trump. Joe Biden is not behind any of this stuff. It's happening irrespective. Mike Pence is not part of Joe Biden's crew. Chris Christie is not under Joe Biden. McCarthy, these folks taking plea deals. They're not part of Joe Biden. It makes sense for MAGA to just blame it on Joe Biden, but Joe Biden ain't doing this stuff. That's not coming from him.
But there's no proof that it isn't, that they're not paying him off to make Trump not run. There's no proof of that.
Yeah, and there's no proof that it is either. There's no proof that it is.
No, there's no proof that it is, and there's no proof that it isn't.
So then why say it? Then why say all of this stuff without proof?
That, I don't say that.
You just did.
I never said that.
You just did.
No.
You said it's happening now.
Oh, do you want? I can't prove that, but
Right.
you can look at the bank records. You can look at the bank records. That's how you prove stuff. Simple as that. If they took money, corrupt money, there it is. There's your evidence right there.
All right. All right.
Thank you for talking to me.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about that. Anytime. Don't worry about that. Anytime. You don't have to agree with me. Anytime you see, you're welcome on this program. Any damn time you want. And always free speech will be observed. I appreciate you coming on, Will.
22 people agree with me.
All right. All right. I'm glad you came through. All right. Looking in the box. You should be. Says, what is y'all? All right. You still picking a side? I don't get that question, Joshua. Latinos for Trump. That is true. There are Hispanics supporting Trump. Depends on what your, oftentimes your nation of origin or your ancestry is. Folks that came from socialist countries where socialist dictators, communist dictators, because the right has labeled Democrats as socialists. So Cubanos, Venezuelans, they don't want a lot to do with the Democratic Party because they come to this country and people are constantly yelling, this person is a socialist. Makes sense. They don't want nothing to do with the Democrats. I don't believe Hillary Clinton. I don't see Barack Obama as a socialist. I see them making a ton of money off capitalism. But the branding has worked quite well for the right. Just like all Republicans are not racist. But the branding that party is a racist party has had a lot of benefits for the Democrats. I hear folks on the right all the time, why you always calling us racist? Why you always pulling the race card? Well, you're doing the same with the socialist card because it benefits you. In fact, liberals are socialists, communists, Marxists, fascists, you name every IST because it does work. It does work to brand somebody as an evil entity, and it makes people vote for you as opposed to that evil entity. Just like branding Trump is working for a hell of a lot of voters and getting Trump on the side of being ostracized, as my last caller was trying to say. Going to the box. That's not true. Bernie Sanders said he was a socialist. Trump said he was a Democrat before. Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. Bernie Sanders ran as a Democrat to get access to the DNC funds. It's the same with Trump. Trump is not a Republican. He ran as a Republican to get access to the RNC funds. That is why both Trump and Bernie Sanders often have a hell of a lot of backlash from traditional members of their parties. Because you're not one of us. MAGA makes it clear that Trump is not one of the Republicans in office. He's not a typical politician. He's an outsider. You guys make it clear. Bernie Sanders was an outsider too. But it benefits you on the right to try to make Bernie Sanders an insider because you don't want to separate them. You need the socialist label to be affixed to all of them. Just like folks on the right or on the left are not looking at Trump as an outsider. They're saying, no, all Republicans are for this guy because you want to fix Trump to everybody. Looking in the comments, read Project 2025. I've saw some of it and it's frightening as hell. Looking in the comments, he is an educated man who argues for child marriage. Yikes. Who does that? Handsome, I refuse to vote for a party 25% of the base hates me for nothing more than my skin. Damn, and I mean, your co-op is saying KKK. So you're basically saying 25% of the Republican Party is racist and you would never support that. 25%? Hate you solely because you're black? we could have a conversation. Looking in the comment section, I see you said exactly. Everyone from Trump's inner circle that is now telling the truth about him, they call them a rhino. That is true, Jennifer. That is true. You can't speak against Trump and still be referred to as a respectable Republican. I don't know of not a single Republican that is speaking negatively of Trump and still considered respectable by MAGA. Not one. Beeman Freestyle, definitely one of my subscribers, one of my few subscribers. I'll definitely show you some love. 148,000. Moss, Ruby Freeman. What do you think, Beeman?
Hey, brother.
Hey, good afternoon. Good evening.
Hey, I'm glad I'm on. Glad to speak to you again. It's been the same old over here. The concept of you not being a true Republican because you disagree with one particular man, if that's not mind-boggling, I don't know what is. If that doesn't say anything to speak on your character and your judgment, because if you're saying this man is a great leader of people, but everybody that was around him, let's say over 50% of the people that he said were great, informed, these are the greatest people, are great people, and now they're not. How do you trust somebody like that? How do you trust their judgment blindly to the point where you would just leave the party?
You know something? You pose a good question, because I've said that before. Even if you are truly a fan of Trump, in terms of his hiring abilities, you got to admit he's got to be one of the worst HR people you've ever seen, because you're right. He's hired a ton of people that are now considered traitors and treasonous by MAGA, and they don't hold him accountable for hiring so many people they think are now detrimental to the country.
That's what I'm saying. So what has he done to make you believe in the last year of his presidency? What has he done to make you believe that he will have great people around him? And how do you really know who's great around him? You're saying, oh, well, let's go with Vivek. I like what Vivek's doing. I like what Graham is doing. You liked Pence. You liked all these people. It just seems to me.
Eric, thank you for. Hang on a second. Just want to thank Eric for that subscription. I saw that come in. Thank you. You're right. They like Pence. They like General Mattis. They like Scaramucci. They like the Ambassador Bolton. They hate all these people now. Continue.
Why? What in your mind is sitting there telling you that now, after all these mistakes, now I can pick the best people? There has been no proof that he is given. And if I'm wrong, somebody please in the comments or somebody tell me who he has picked out so far since he's been out of the White House that is so different than the people that were not. I'm not talking about the people that weren't around him 24/7. I'm talking about his closest advisors. Who else does he have? Give me 5 people that have been around him for the last 10 years that have not turned on him in some shape, form, or fashion and become rhinos.
It's a good question.
And I'm not saying 1. Give me 5, because he's the president, right? He knows a lot of people. Who has he had in his cabinet that has not shown you or said something to the American people negatively about this man since he's been out of office?
So
everybody's around him.
C. Osby in the comments said his daughter.
His daughter. Well, him and his daughter have a special relationship. Yeah, I went there. I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna leave that. Yeah. Anybody that would say what he said about his daughter, if it would, I'd marry her. Come on. All right.
I see Ben Carson is coming up in the comments now. Ben Carson is obviously out of politics, but Ben Carson is one that hasn't said anything negative about Trump.
Trump trashed him. What are
Yeah, but he hired him
Said
though.
about Ben Carson.
Yeah, but he has since hired him and put him on his administration.
Okay, so okay, but you're just parroting what I've been saying, brother. He hired a man that he called incompetent. Nobody called him a rhino, but he called him incompetent because he never said anything else. And Ben Carson's not even a part of his cabinet
Yeah. Anymore. But he was.
anymore.
Yeah.
And I said for the last 10 years, I'm talking about 4 years. I'm not talking about in the last, since he ran or since he started running, he wasn't friends with Ben Carson. They weren't tight like that. I'm talking about people that have been tight with him for years, that made it to his cabinet, that have not turned on him, and that is one person, and Donald Trump still, and for the lack of good taste, dookied on this man during the debate.
So let me ask you. I'm not going to argue with you on any of that. That's deep, but I can't argue with you on it. But Ruby Freeman and Shane Moss getting 148 million out of Giuliani. What do you think about that?
It's just like with any other company, any other business. He is a business. Rudy is a personality. He makes money off of his legal expertise. He knew the laws. He knew the consequences. He did it anyway. I feel no way about him giving that money up. He knew he was going to give it up, but he did it because he didn't want to turn on Donald Trump. He wanted to make everybody believe in a victorious, election that Donald Trump didn't lose. He actually won and lost in every court case. Just to put it simply, he knew he was going to lead. He knew he was going to lose. He knew, and that is the craziest shit in the world. This man's been doing law since the 80s.
Yeah.
How did you not know that? That's what I'm getting at. Did he think he could twist it because Trump was the president?
You know, the crazy thing is you bring up that Giuliani has been practicing law since the 80s. The odd thing is he is not the only lawyer that has destroyed his entire legal career for Trump. Them fake electors, a lot of them folks were attorneys. I mean, like down in Georgia, the one that took the cute mugshot, she was an attorney. Sidney Powell was a long-term attorney. A lot of them have lost they completely disbarred. They can't practice law anymore. He's destroyed a lot of legal careers for that January 6th and that 2020 election. I don't know why such prominent, professional, educated people would do that to themselves. I don't know.
Because they had to believe that Donald Trump wasn't your ordinary politician, wasn't your ordinary leader, was going to make it to where they can get away with it, to twist the law, find new ways to get around the law. My thing is that Rudy Giuliani knew the law, and he's sued people for defamation before. That's what I don't understand. Look, if people, all you have to do is Google these things. They are court records. He has sued companies for defamation. How did he not know?
Yeah.
How did he not know? He studied criminal law for over a decade. You can't prove to me that a man that's been in a profession, whether it be truck driving or McDonald's, flipping a burger, that if you've done it for over 30 years, you're telling me you don't know when a burger's done or when it's not? You don't know how to fix an engine? You don't know none of this stuff? Come on, man.
I guess perhaps he thought he was going to get away with it, but I do got to move it on, Beeman. I can't push back. I can't push back. Always a pleasure, man. Can't push back.
Please, appreciate you putting me on.
Absolute. I'm trying to figure out what did I just do here. I didn't mean to bring all this up here. Oh shit. All right, I don't know what I just did with the live, but I must have just terminated my damn TikTok live. I do appreciate you folks on YouTube. In the comments, somebody said something in the comment here on YouTube I wanted to respond to quick. He turned New York around. Don't forget about that. Yeah, he did. Rudolph Giuliani did a very good job in the city of New York. Now, being African American, I can tell you this, that whole stop and frisk was incredibly hard on black people. You can bring down the crime rate and do racist things at the same time. Now, there's a lot of folks, President Trump himself still supports stop and frisk, because he also pardoned Sheriff Joe Arpaio down in Arizona for stopping and frisking Hispanic people as well. Stop and frisk can bring down crime. There's no denying that, but it's a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment. You know, some folks will say if you give up your liberties in search of freedom, you're not really free at all, or in search of safety, you're not really free at all. I don't want somebody to take my Fourth Amendment rights, just like some of you folks may not want somebody to take your Second Amendment rights and tell me I'm gonna be safer because you're doing that. I don't want to be on my way to work, you know, on a train, getting off the L, or what do they call it in New York, the subway, and all of a sudden the cops are going through my pockets, hemming me up against the wall, checking to make sure I don't have a gun on me. You can tell me it's keeping the public safe. It's embarrassing as hell for me. And keep in mind, police are not perfect. There is not a 0% chance something wrong may not happen. I don't want the wrong officer on the wrong day to pat me down and feel some kind of way. That's how bad shit can happen. I don't ever want to be in favor of something that increases my interaction with police, particularly when I'm doing nothing wrong. So having said that, I can't ever support stop and frisk. And I'll tell you this, any attorney worth his salt, even a first-year law school student, will tell you to always reduce your interaction with police. One-word answers. Don't volunteer any information. Ask for a lawyer, ask for an attorney. Even the law, even folks who practice law every day tell you not to just trust police. So when they ask you, do you mind if I search your car? All lawyers will tell you the answer no. If you're not legally obligated to let them do something, I don't care what it is. White lawyers, black lawyers, you name it, will tell you don't do this. Why would people who work with police every single day, talking about lawyers, tell you not to speak to them? That should tell you everything you need to know. Don't volunteer for shit. Don't volunteer and just assume that, well, he just wants to do his job and go home to his family. If I let him search my car, ain't nothing gonna happen. Not one lawyer out there would tell you that that's good advice. I don't care if it's a lawyer that caters to wealthy white people or broke-ass black people in the hood. They all say the same thing. Do not consent to searches. Do not volunteer information to police. Even the police, when they are caught up in some type of violent, controversial altercation, do not speak to other police. They go run to their union steward and do not release a statement. So that should tell you everything you know, that even the police don't work with the police voluntarily. So I'm never a fan of stop and frisk. All kinds of shit can go wrong. But does it reduce crime? Yeah. Letting the police search your car can bring down crime. Letting the police come in your house anytime they want to can bring down crime. But damn it, we all have rights. We have constitutional rights. The Bill of Rights exists. You don't just give up all your damn rights in the name of reducing crime. You wouldn't do it, so don't expect me. I do appreciate you folks tuning in on YouTube. Catch you guys later. Take care.